Hi everybody, Jamie the Board Game Man, and today we're going to look at a two-player cooperative game. It is ages 10 and up, takes about 15-20 minutes to play. It is called 60 Second City by Buffalo Games. Now in this game, you have 5 rounds of 1 minute each. And what you're trying to do is you have these tiles and you're placing them in this city. Now you have these goal cards which tell you what you're trying to do with these tiles. It might be a block of 4 parks. It could be 2 rows of 3 of cities or commercial buildings. And you're trying to get these goal cards completed. And after the end of 5 rounds, when you've done all 5 rounds, the goal is obviously go through all goal cards. Of course, the more goal cards you put, the more advanced it gets. Now, in this game, there's little pollution tiles that you roll 2 dice, and it kind of gives you coordinates on the wood board where to place these pollution tiles. And these are trying to block you from placing tiles on the board. And beginning of every round, you roll the dice 3 times and you're laying down 3 different pollution tiles. So you really want to try your best when you're building these cities or putting these tiles on the board that you're trying to get rid of some of those pollution tiles too, because they can clog up the city after a while and makes it really difficult to fulfill your goals. Pretty cool game, but let's get to it. Let's head on over to the Gamers Table, and I'll show you how to play 60 Second City. All right, everybody, here we are with 60 Second City. Let me go ahead and show you the components of the game. First of all, you do have the instruction booklet. They do a really good job explaining it. They have color pictures, and they actually explain it very, very well. Shouldn't take you no time to get up and running, all right? There is the instruction booklet. You also have the game board, which is actually wood. They did a pretty good job on this. You have numbers on the side. You can see it has the name of the game on the back side. You also have pollution tiles that I'll be showing you how these incorporate into the game. You also have goal cards. You have 2 dice, 1 through 6, 1 blue, 1 red. You also have these event cards, and you have the tiles that you'll be laying down on the board. And that is pretty much the components. Now the object of the game is you're trying to complete all the goal cards in the game. Now what you're going to do is you're going to have 5 rounds. Each round is 1 minute long. And what you're trying to do is lay down these tiles in a certain way when you're trying to meet these goals. Let me go ahead and show you. I'm going to put this off to the side. What you're going to do is, depending on how hard you want the game to go, the novice game is 12 goal cards. So we're just going to go ahead and do this. Now if you want it a little harder, then what you can do you can make the starter game is 12 goal cards, the standard game is 16, difficult is 20, and expert is 24. So it depends on how hard you want to play the game. So the standard game, the starter game is 12. So we're going to go ahead and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you're going to take 12 gold cards, you're going to put these into the box. Okay? And you're also, now these event cards, we're not really going to go over these, but these are to make the game even harder. And they'll show certain things like at the end of the round, any industrial that is not adjacent to another is removed from the game and stuff like that. This is if you want to make the game even harder than what it already is. So this is just some extra thing that you can use, but it is not needed when you play the starter game. Okay? I'm going to put those away. All right, so you're going to have your 12 gold cards here. You're going to have your dice ready. And what you're going to do is you're going to deal out the top 5. And this is going to show you what your goals are going to be in the game. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can go ahead and drop the top 5 cards. Okay? Now, let me show you how this works. It says 2 commercial neighboring any city halls. What you're going to try to do is you have different buildings, parks, residential on the bottom of these tiles. So you'll see the city hall is right here. This is what you start when you first lay down your first tile. You're going to lay it next to the city hall, and then every tile after that must be adjacent to that one. So it has to be like this, like this, like this, or like this. It cannot be diagonal like that. You cannot do it this way. But each tile you lay down must be adjacent to another tile. Okay, that's how that works. Okay, so you have 2 commercial neighboring any city hall, 3 power plants anywhere on the border, which means you have to have 3 of these power plants along the outside border. Match the pattern. So if you have 2 windmills here and 2 windmills here, if you have any of these pollution tiles, which I'll show you in a minute, surrounding these, then you get to remove those pollution tiles. You also have match the pattern. You have 4 industrial buildings. You're going to try to get 4 in a row, just like this. And match the pattern. You're going to try to get 4 windmills in a square, just like that. Okay, that is going to be your goals for this first round. So you're going to lay them face up where everybody can see them. Okay, just like so. You got your 5 cards. And what now you're going to do is you're going to place 3 of these pollution tiles each round. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to roll the 2 dice. And it says blue 4, red 3. Now you can see the numbers on the side here, they're red and blue. They correspond to the numbers on the die. So you have 3 red. So what you're going to do is you're going to place a pollution tile, 3 red and 4 blue. So it's almost kind of like Battleship. You're going to go just like this, and you're going to lay that pollution tile right there. You're going to roll again. Okay. And you got red 6, blue 3. Okay. So you got the blue 3, red 6. It's going to go right here. And then you roll one more time. Red 2 and blue 1. Red 2, blue 1. Okay, this is where you're going to lay down the first 3 pollution tiles of the game. Now, if you're lucky enough to roll the same number again, say I roll the same thing I just rolled. Say I just rolled another 2 and a 1, then you get lucky. You do not have to put a pollution tile. Say this was the second round, and I went to lay down my first tile, and I already rolled the numbers that already had a pollution tile there. Guess what? You don't know, this can go out of the game, and that's one less pollution tile you have to worry about in the game. Okay? These pretty much are all they really do in the game is kind of try to block you from putting tiles on the board. Okay? But it is not necessarily to get rid of them. The main goal, main objective in the game is to go through all your goal cards. This is the main objective. You're not trying to get all the pollution tiles off the board, but it is easier to lay down tiles when you don't have them on there. Okay? Okay, so what you're going to do after this is set, after you set down the pollution tiles, you have your gold cards out, you have all the tiles ready to go here. As soon as you say go, you're going to have 1 minute. Now, unfortunately, the game does not come with a 1 minute timer, unfortunately. So if you have a 1 minute timer or some kind of you can use your phone, whatever you want to use, you're going to start by playing 1 minute. Now, each player, what they're going to do is when you start, each player is going to pick up one of these tiles and they're going to look at it, and you can see each tile has different buildings on it. Like there's one of the power plants. You can see here's another one here, here's a park, and an industrial building, and so on. As soon as you pick up the tile, you're going to look at it and you're going to lay it down on the board. Now, just like I said a minute ago, the first tile you lay down must be adjacent to the city hall. It has to be like this, it has to be touching it one way or another. And after that, you're pretty much going adjacent from any other tiles that you lay down on the board, as soon as you lay them down. Both players, because it is a 2-player collaborative game, both players at the same time will be grabbing tiles one at a time and laying them on the board. As soon as you pick up that tile, you must play it. You must play it somewhere on the board. You can't just lay it back down, oh, I don't want that one, and then pick up another one. As soon as you pick it up, it must go on the board somewhere, okay? Until the 1 minute is up. Now, when 1 minute ends and you have a tile in your hand, you are still allowed to lay that tile on the board, and then that round is over. So let's go ahead and I'll show you an example of the first round. Let's say you say ready, set, go. So both players, like I said, at the same time, you're not taking turns. You're going to start grabbing a tile. You're going to keep an eye on these goal cards to see if you can get any of these goals matched up, okay? So you go like this, you grab the first one. Oh, we got 2 communities. Well, look at this. 2 commercial neighboring city halls. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab that there, okay? Then the next one you're going to grab, and you got, oh, we got one of these. Let's see, we're going to put this like this. Okay, next one, we're going to do this. Okay, well, we want a block of 4 windmills. So I'm going to try to do something like this. Just keep them adjacent. Next one, oh, there's another windmill and a commercial building. So we're going to put this here. And each player is going to go ahead and take one of these and lay them adjacent to a previous tile on the board. You're going to keep going like so. And you're going to keep going, keep going, keep going until the 1 minute is up. As soon as the 1 minute is up, you go ahead and you stop. And you're going to evaluate how you did with your goal cards. So first of all, we're going to say 2 commercial neighboring any city hall. Well, here we got 2 that are neighboring the city hall right here. So you have accomplished this goal and is now out of the game. Okay. Here's this one. 3 power plants anywhere on the border. Well, unfortunately, we only got 1 here. So this goal is going to stay in the game for the next round. Okay. Next one is match the pattern. So if we had we said we had 2 here, but unfortunately we couldn't get another 2 windmills around that pollution. So unfortunately it stays in the game. But if you were able to get another windmill like so, let's see, say you were able to do, let's do it. You can turn it like this too. You can actually do that if you want. Let's just say we did this. Okay. If we did this, okay, you have 2 and 2, and this pollution was in between. If it has this on the bottom of the card, this tells you can remove the pollution if it appears in any spaces shown. So in this case, we have 2 here, 2 here. You have a pollution here. What you could do is first you would get rid of this gold card, and then you would get rid of the pollution tile, and this would be out of the game because you were able to go surround the pollution. Okay. In this one, it says match the pattern, and we did not get 4 in a row of these commercial buildings. We only got 1 of them on here actually. So this would stay in the game. And then we had this earlier like this. I had matched the pattern. Yes, we did. We had 4 here, windmills, so we're going to go ahead and take this out of the game. And in that round, what you did is you completed 2 of the goals in that round. So what happens is, you're going to go on to the second round. All you're going to do is you're going to replenish 2 more gold cards, because you're always going to have 5 to start the game. Okay. Just like so. Okay. And then you're going to remove all these tiles. You're going to remove the tiles. Unfortunately, we did not get rid of any pollution tiles in that round. You're going to put these all face down, like so. And of course, you're going to do the mixing up. You're going to mix them all up so you don't remember what those tiles were that you just took off. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to roll the dice for your second round. You're going to roll the dice. Okay, then you got blue 5, red 1. So you're going to go ahead and this is the second round. What you're going to do is you're going to divvy these up in stacks of 3 for each round. You have 5 rounds. So you got red 1, blue 5, that goes here. Okay, then you're going to roll this for the second pollution, 3 and 3. So this would go right there. And your last row is blue 5, red 4. So blue 5 and red 4. So that pollution right there. Unfortunately, we did not roll the same number on any of those. So unfortunately, we just added 3 more. So now you have 6 pollution on the board. And then once again, once you lay down pollution, you got your 5 gold cards. You say ready, set, go. You're going to set the timer for 1 minute. And you're going to do the same thing again. You're going to go and grab 1 tile at a time. And of course, the first one has to be adjacent to the city hall. And after that, every other tile after that must be adjacent to one of the other tiles, like so. Okay? Just like this. And you're just going to keep going back and forth. You can say time. Obviously, if you, like I said, if you still have a tile in your hand, you can go ahead and lay down that final tile, and then that is it. What's great about these tiles is they actually have little grooves in here. And there's actually grooves right here on the board, too, so they actually fit in there pretty good. See the way they don't slide all over the place? That's really nice, too. So, and that, my friends, is 60-Second City. You're going to do that for 5 rounds, and it does give you how well you do in the book on how many gold cards you end up completing. You see the end of the game. If you have none of these completed by the 5th round, you are true urban visionaries. If all the goals are completed, you have each risen to the ranks of city architects. What you do is when you get the true urban visionaries is if you completed all of your gold cards before the 5th round. That is really difficult to do, but if you can do that, that's great. If you still have 1 to 2 gold cards remaining, it's a great job, you're master builders. If you still have 3 to 4 gold cards, you're adequate urban planning undergrads. But stick to the books, that's what it says here. And if you have 5 or more remaining, you are still cutting your teeth as apprentices. So it kind of gives you kind of a fun, how many cards you have left, and then it kind of grades you how well you did. And like I said earlier, in those event cards, it's just advanced play. It's a game variant where after the end of the round, you see what happens. If you don't do certain things, you add, and it makes it even more difficult. And here are the different city tiles, like I showed you. You have the purple as our residential, and then you got commercial, power plant, parks, industrial, and then you have the farms. All right, so there you have it. There is 60-Second City. Let's head on back to the game room, and I'll tell you what I think about the game. All right, everybody, my thoughts on 60-Second City. What a crazy game. I mean, this is a crazy game where you have 2 players at the same time, grabbing tiles, trying to lay them down. Now, the good part about this game, which I don't think I mentioned in the when I was showing you how to play, is you can talk to each other. So it's not like you have to be quiet. You can't say anything to each other. You can talk to each other. In fact, it's a very good idea if you talk before. I mean, it's easier said than done, but you could talk, okay, you make sure if you get these, you put them over here, or if you get those, make sure you put them over here. Easier said than done, because you know I have no idea what kind of tile you're going to pull. And so it's really, I mean, plus you only have 1 minute. So it's not like you got a lot of time to really think about, you know, okay, and I go, okay, what did we say about this tile? Oh, let's go this right. You're going to go over the left. I mean, that's almost 10 seconds you're wasting. So you really just got to pay attention to, especially the goal cards, because you got to know what you're trying to accomplish. But on top of that, you really got to pay attention to the board, where the tiles are when you're laying them down. First, you got to make sure they're adjacent to another tile. You can't just put them off in the middle of nowhere like, ooh, this one has to be on the border, and just kind of throw it on the border where no other tile is. So it's crazy because your mind is just like, oh, it feels like it's a fried egg at the end of each round. And actually, it does feel like a minute is forever. When you finally get done, you're just like, oh, okay, I hope we finished something. I hope we did something, you know. But eventually, I think after the first or second round, then you start getting a little better feel, especially your first time playing, okay, how these tiles, you know, you try and lay them down, you kind of get a little better feel of how to do it. But I recommend it. It's fun. It's only a 2-player game. It's a collaborative game. So at least you're going, you know, you're working with each other to try to get these goals completed. The pollution tiles, they're kind of cool. You know, they're kind of in your way. In a way, you kind of want to try to get rid of them so you can, you know, try to get those, especially the squares, the 4 that I showed you in the game. Those are a little difficult when you have a pollution in the way. You know, like, oh man, I have to go around the pollution, you know, or I can't do it because that stupid pollution tile's there. So it makes it difficult, you know, those little tiles to be in there. Rolling the dice is kind of cool. The 2 dice, and you lay them down with, you know, you do the coordinates, so where you put the pollution tiles. That's pretty cool. And I also like the little variant of, you know, if you roll the same number you already did before and the pollution tile is still there, well, guess what? Hey, you got lucky. You can take that tile out. You don't have to play that game. You have 1 less pollution tile you got to deal with. So the tough part is the insert where the cards go in. I mean, it's literally the same size as the cards, and it's hard. It's almost impossible to get all the cards out. You literally have to get everything else out of there and kind of smack the bottom of the box to get the rest of the cards out. Hate that. The insert's not the best. Yeah, the event cards aren't bad because you only have this many event cards, so it's easy to kind of take those out. But those gold cards, I think you have like 54 of them, I believe, in the game. And you have that many, it's kind of deep. You can't even, the thing, put your finger in there, it doesn't even go all the way down, so you can't even get them all out. But that's just a minor thing. But gameplay itself, it's pretty fun. It is fun. No timer. That's kind of a bummer, but I know they want to keep the prices down. I did buy this at Target. So this is one of those Target games that you could locate and find. I think it was like $20 for it, I believe. And $20 is a good price point for it. The tiles are pretty cool quality, but you have to kind of be careful when you take them out for the first time, when you're punching them out. You kind of have to kind of push them out, and you want to make sure that you don't snap the tile in half. You almost feel like you're going to do that by mistake because they're kind of thin, and if you kind of if you really kind of put some pressure to it, you probably could break it right in half. So you have to kind of be a little careful. So they're sturdy, but not that sturdy where you're taking them out and you're not careful. You might actually bust one in half, so you got to be very careful with that. But other than that, I mean, I think it's a cool little game. I mean, it's a fun game. It runs about 20 to 30 minutes. And like I said, it's ages 10 and up. You might be able to go a little lower than that. You know, some kids are smarter, and they might be able to do this at maybe 7 or 8 years old. And maybe even younger than that, just kind of depending on the child. You know, it really, really depends. So, but yeah, I definitely highly recommend to get it. It is a fun, cool little game. Like I said, you can find it at Target, at least at the time of taping. 60 Second City, and it is by Buffalo Games. So go check it out. I highly recommend it. I'll give you a thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching the episode. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give me that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this episode. And until next time, everybody, happy gaming.